Hello. I'm making a video in the garden and it's really nice and warm today. And as soon as I got up, I went outside and I laid over there on the grass where it's shade now, but it was sunny there earlier. And it felt so good. And then the baby dog joined me there and sat on my hands. And that was really nice. So I have Christmas tree. This is a branch that fell off the tree during the storm. So that's the only way I harvest twigs, like decorative aromatic twigs from the trees. And I trim them a little bit and I put them into my self-made vases that I made out of cardboard boxes. And it looks really nice. And I never put plants in water. I always put them into a cardboard box that I painted. And just stick this in like a bunch of them, like really condensed. About the same height, and that looks really amazing. Lasts for months and months and months. And smells really good. I love that. But only stuff that had already fallen off. I never pick something. I mean, sometimes rarely I have to trim. I have to trim hedges and stuff like this. And then the stuff that comes off from trimming the hedges, the rhododendron, the Camellia japonica, and the needle trees, if they are sticking out where a baby dog could scratch himself on. So stuff like that I trim, and then I put this into either put it like loosely into a shelf. I make skin creams with this, or I put it into my self-made vases, stick that in, and looks really good and smells good. It makes the house smell really nice when you do that. So unfortunately a whole tree came down during that really heavy storm. Douglas fir, I already talked about this before, and Paul had to cut it into pieces. There's still a really large trunk lying there, and Paul has to cut all of that into manageable pieces. And some of these pieces I brought in the house, in this house and in the other house. And that makes the house smell really amazing. Really great. But only take stuff that has already fallen. Never cut a tree. Never cut anything off a tree if you don't have to. Unless, something is obstructing the driveway or something like this. Then you'll have to trim, and then you can use those parts. But I recommend to avoid that if you can. So just take something that has already fallen, and then you can make tea with this. Makes really good vitamin C tea, this here. You don't need to buy vitamin C. You can just pick this up and take like this here, this amount, and you shred it up. You put it into a cup, put boiling water on it. You let it sit for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, and then you drink the tea, and it tastes really, really good. You can also eat it raw. Tastes really good, really aromatic. I love that Christmas tree taste and smell so much. Reminds me of good times in the past. My dad would always get one of these grand firs. Unfortunately, in the past they cut them. My dad would get this, always a really large one. And when we were children, we didn't know anything about sustainability. And my parents didn't know anything about that either. So then later on, my parents stopped doing that. I'm so glad. But the smell was always incredible. But that tree wanted to live. That tree wanted to get really big. That tree wanted to get as big as a high-rise building. We have one here that is really, really, really big. It is so big. It is like more than 2 feet around the tree trunk. On the bottom, it's even bigger than that. It's like, on the bottom, it's like more than 4 feet around. About almost 3 feet in diameter towards the bottom. And then enormously big. Enormously. It gets a little skinnier on the top. And it has these, this is really the signature of the tree is that the twigs, they go sideways like this, the needles sideways. The spruce looks similar, but the spruce has the needles going all the way around the stem. This has the needles going sideways like this, like wings, more like a feather. And it has that very, very amazing scent of almost like a little bit like chocolate and orange. It's amazing how that smells. Really, really amazing. Truly amazing. So, I can't get enough of this. This is so heavenly. This is the best perfume in the world. And I bought some Grand Fir Absolute oil, which is expensive because it's difficult to make, but I can make it myself now, so I learned how to make this myself. It's very time consuming to make that. It takes like a year to make that. If you really want to have a very thick resinous oil that you create through cold infusion. You take carrier oil, you put this stuff in, and after a couple of months you take the needles out, you put new needles in, and then you repeat it a couple of times until the oil becomes really saturated with the essential oil of this beautiful, beautiful tree. And then you have like a really dark brown resinous oil that you can make stuff with, skin creams, hand creams, face creams, also really nice. And a real easy solution for face creams or hand creams is to put white kaolin clay powder or diatomaceous earth powder or both into it until it becomes creamy. Stir it up until it becomes very creamy, and then it's like a creamy butter, and you can use that as hand cream or face or body butter, body oil. Really, really nice to use that. So, but usually I put beeswax in, and I use or plant waxes and mix that with the oil, and then it becomes a really nice, wonderful cream. I never put water in it because I've tried all of this in the past, didn't work. It just, if you use water and you put, even if you put stuff in it that's supposed to preserve it, it grows mold on it. So mold needs water and carbon, okay? And so that's why I avoid working with water. And I also don't use alcohol. I only work with waxes, clay powders, and oils. So that's all we need for making cosmetic. And that makes the best cosmetic in the world. The absolute best. So it's my dream to one day maybe create my own cosmetic line and make that really on a wider scale. Have my own factory. That's always been my dream. So when I see people going into factories or buying entire chocolate factories, that's when I get excited, because that's like childhood dream, And I'm not the only one. I see the comments underneath. So yeah, a lot of people, they think that must be the ultimate dream, to get a chocolate factory. I would like to buy a factory, but create everything, have everything, all the equipment, buy chocolate making equipment new, so that there are no traces of other stuff that's not so good for us. And then I would create a chocolate alternative made out of nut butters and carob. So that's what I would do. So, and that's really awesome. That's really healthy. It's like just 100% healthy. So, and good for us. So I know that chocolate is really not good for us. Chocolate actually causes inflammatory bowel syndrome. I had that happen one time because I ate too much chocolate. I ate these Belgian chocolate bars. They tasted so good, but they were like huge, and I ate several of them every day, and boy, my skin broke out red like a lobster. Skin eruptions, itchy pimples and stuff like that, and then I got the horrible diarrhea and intestinal pain. It was so bad. I think that was somewhere in 2015 or 2014, somewhere around there. And it was so bad. There are still videos that I made during that time on YouTube, on one of my dormant channels. So, and it shows how, like, my liver was like totally overloaded. And so we can heal all of that. I know for sure that there may be some things like Crohn's disease or other stuff that someone could get, or someone could get, but the only way someone gets something like this is if they are not living a healthy lifestyle. So if they eat wrong food. So there may be a genetic disposition towards developing a specific sickness, but that sickness only really comes out if the person is exposed to certain toxins and bad lifestyle. So some people, they will get this illness when they have a bad lifestyle or toxic liver, and other people will get something else. But all of that can be avoided 100% with a healthy lifestyle. So whatever disposition one has, and everyone has some kind of disposition towards something, okay, but that doesn't mean that is some kind of genetic defect. It's just how the body funnels under certain circumstances into whatever reaction. So that's all. I mean, the bottom line is to keep the body healthy and the liver healthy. And I highly recommend to people to watch John Kohler's videos, Grow Your Own Greens, and OK Raw, I think that's his new channel. So he talks about all of this. He healed himself from something that the physicians told him was something that he had to live with, or some kind of genetic stuff, but he healed all of that just by becoming a raw foodist. So raw food, whole food, raw plant food. Okay. Whole plant food, that's the key. Okay. And a lot of tea, a lot of herbal tea, a lot of juices, absolutely no toxins, no alcohol, no drugs, no party stuff. Okay. So that's the key, And for a lot of people, I think a lot of people wouldn't do it. But then they have to pay the price for their lifestyle. So a lot of people will say, oh, bullshit. Okay, that's their problem. That's their life. They make that decision of how they want to live. So I got on my healing path at age 25. So that's when I realized, okay, all of that party stuff is not going anywhere. So it's just not going anywhere. It just causes me problems. That's all it does. So, and then I quit all the party stuff, and my life got better. I was still on pharma at that time for mental illness, which I didn't think about it. I just didn't put A and B together. So I didn't connect the dots with that. So then at some point it dawned on me that maybe I need to quit the pharma drugs too, because they are toxic. Okay, they are at least every bit as toxic as the alcohol, the cigarettes, and what other party drugs or whatever there is. So it's all toxic, whatever people take. Whether that's illegal, whether that's street drugs, or prescribed, or over the counter, or under the counter, or through organized crime, or through poppy fields, or this or that, or whatever. Or whether that's totally, there are some really toxic plants, that people make stuff out of, or if it's petrochemical waste products and totally artificially created by creating molecules that would normally not form in nature. So all of that is extremely toxic for the liver, and coffee is bad for you. Yeah, I quit all of that. And I went into holistic healing, and I am a huge fan of Rudolf Steiner. I went to the Rudolf Steiner school when I was a child, and I got very, very inspired by the work of Rudolf Steiner. I read several of his books about holistic healing, about natural lifestyle. He was one of the first pioneers. He lived around the turn of the century, around 1900. He has met Friedrich Nietzsche in person, believe it or not. When Rudolf Steiner was young, he got to see Friedrich Nietzsche on Friedrich Nietzsche's deathbed. Friedrich Nietzsche was taken care of. He suffered from syphilis because he went to bordels too many times. So at that time they didn't have any kind of vaccine or cure against syphilis. That was in the late 1800s. And so that was also the time, the 1800s, late 1800s, was also the time of Charles Darwin and Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. Baby dog, take it easy. There must be an animal out there. There must be an animal. There's the baby dog. There's the baby dog going through the trees. So, okay, so I'm extremely on board of holistic healing, even if I have moments of extreme agony, mental agony, and all of that. That will not set me back anymore. I have had setbacks many times in the past. It was only one time where I was suicidal and I smoked a couple of cigarettes. But I was still way back. That was only a few years after I quit, and then after that I never ever touched that stuff again. So even when I got suicidal and said, what the heck, it doesn't matter what I do today, I'm gonna end my life the next day or whatever. No, I don't think like this anymore. So then later on I graduated to wanting to end my life without going back on the toxic stuff. And I had this premise, I had this total understanding that one is better shooting a bullet in the head right away than even going for 1 hour or any time back on some kind of toxic substance. So I had moments where I told Paul, oh well, if the world ends, maybe we should drink champagne or something like this. Not to celebrate it, but to, out of despair, okay, whatever, it doesn't matter now, like that movie Melancholia. So, but I have grown over that as well now. So I wouldn't even do that, even if the world ended, even if a comet was coming at us that would wipe out the entire planet, that would make the Earth explode, the entire Earth explode into a supernova or something. So even then, I would not go back on champagne or wine or beer or whiskey or vodka or any of these things. I wouldn't do it, even then. I would just wait it out like here with my Christmas tree in my hand and say, hey, hello comet, let's do this. So like Heaven's Gate sort of, but no, I would never believe in something like Heaven's Gate. That guy was obviously not right in the head. He was not well. He was totally mentally ill, that guy. I feel sorry for him. I'm really terribly sorry for that guy. He suffered terribly. He was completely delusional. Like schizoid. It's a schizoid thing. And then even then people will latch onto it and think this is their new religion. So very sad, all of that. That's how all religion is based on mental illness. Okay, in the same sense as Heaven's Gate. So our Heaven's Gate is when we eventually take our spacesuit, the Earthian spacesuit off. Okay. And we could live on Mars, we still carry this Earthian spacesuit with us if we go to Mars. So if we take the Earthian spacesuit, which is this here, the flesh, okay, you take that off, you take that off your soul, then the soul will go back to heaven, and I don't like that expression, but yeah, to the blue God. So the blue God is heaven. That is the blue God. The blue sky is heaven. So, anywhere, we go anywhere into the infinite cosmos. So I'm subscribed to all of these amazing people that take great photos with their telescopes. They have their own hobby telescopes. Some of them have really great ones. And they take amazing photos of the Orion Nebula and other nebulas and areas in the infinite cosmos, and they're very, very excited about that. And I totally share that with them. I'm very excited about that too. I'm not going to buy a telescope. So my focus on my life is moving to the desert, getting a large property. We can only do this once we sold this house here. And then we have the funds to buy the other property. Then we want to get, this is what we decided to do now, we want to get 4 barn houses, 2 round barn metal barns, and 2 round in the same size and exactly the same size 2 greenhouses made out of like epoxy nylon, very durable type of windstorm materials, and we want to patch them together as barn dome tunnels, and we want to alternate them. So greenhouse, barnhouse, greenhouse, barnhouse, like that. So that we have heat in the winter time and we can irrigate all roofs during the summertime. So luckily in the high desert it does not get too hot. It usually doesn't get over 90 degrees, which is still very hot, but you can irrigate the roof, and that will bring down the temperature by 30 degrees or even more. So people have already tried this out. There's one guy on YouTube, he has a channel, a guy from China who moved to Alaska, like almost like really way up north into the polar circle. And he got himself a commercial greenhouse, one of those, okay? And during the midst of winter, when it was minus 30 degrees outside, Fahrenheit, which is really cold, it was 70 degrees inside of the greenhouse. So without any heater at all, Okay, now that's green living, because we spend most of our electricity on heaters, having fan heaters on. So but we still don't. It is still our price that we pay is only a fraction of what normally other people pay. Other people would pay for heating this house here. They would pay $1,000 per month for heat, and what that does on the global scale to the environment, most people don't put their minds into it. Okay, so we don't want to be part of this. We want to live as green as we can. Okay? And so we have figured out how to not use that much electricity. So during the coldest months, we had 3 heaters on in the living room, and all aimed towards the couches, towards the wall. And I'm making video. So he's coming with that hand truck picking up some deliveries. And so we use much less electricity. And it feels really good. So our electric bill is about $80 per month during the winter months. So now it's gonna get much less. So during the summer, sometimes we had almost no extra charge. We only paid I think a little over $30, something like this, during the summer months. Maybe $1 more than the basic charge, actually. So that's pretty good. That's really good. At night, we don't turn any bright lights on. We use night lights, and they are LED based. They use almost no electricity. We also have some security lights that are LED based, and they are on always. They turn on at night by themselves. It has a mechanism inside. Then we have to have a security alarm system, of course, at both houses. That we have to have for safety. We have no other choice. So, and major camera system. Cameras everywhere. Super paranoid. But there are people that have confirmed it and said, and they talked about rich people. We're not rich, but they said the paranoid rich person is always the safe rich person. Okay, so we are not rich, but we're paranoid, and we are safer because of that. So I talked about this bit yesterday, that I am very, very concerned. And sometimes I get very terrified. Because of this kind of stuff that I see in the world. Because of the internet, I get to see all that, the horrible stuff that happens. With Islam and women being abducted into organized crime rings and into bordels, into human trafficking rings and cartels, and they're given drugs. They don't want to take drugs. Innocent girls snatched away from places where people are naive, like the Midwest, and they don't know what kind of monstrous brains are in this world. And not just a few, okay? So the people that are coming into this country from other countries, like from India and Pakistan and Yemen and Saudi Arabia and Iran, Iraq, entire Middle East, Africa, India, those places, that those kind of refugees that come here, they bring with them their crimes. Okay? Those are not innocent people that are coming here. They come here, they get all kinds of stuff, they get green cards, they get citizenship even. And they're allowed to work with the police department. And monstrous things have already happened. Okay? With Somalian police officers that would rape girls and shoot the women that call the police to cover up their crimes. Okay, so shoot them to cover. They will shoot an innocent person, they shot an innocent lady who saw this crime happening on the street. Several men gang raping a teenage girl, and she called. And by the time she called, they had already killed the teenage girl, and they left. And then she called police, and they hired exactly the person who had been involved with this. Okay. So he comes over there to see the lady that called and takes out his gun and shoots her dead. And these things are happening all the time, okay, because of refugees coming in. Okay. This is a subject that almost nobody wants to talk about, but I talk about it because we need to talk about it. It's frightening, okay, and they're not only dangerous refugees, but they are really dangerous, okay. There are also dangerous people in this country, of course. Plenty of them, okay. So yeah, we can't be naive anymore, okay. We have to be informed about what's happening, what's going on. So I have a solution here that I want to use. I'll sit a little bit back. I want to use this solution to pour over my feet. So let's see here. Here's the solution. And this solution is rainwater and fallen leaves and a little twig of grand fir from the other tree on the other side. No, I don't know if it's from this tree or the other. I actually found it here, so I put this into this as well. So, and this made a really, really nice soup by itself. I have this on the wash table outside next to the house. I have, in one container, I have earth clay, like earth sand, like brown kaolin clay. I have in one pot that I dug up just from the garden. And I use that to wash dishes with in my hands. This works really, really well. And this here makes also an amazing cleaning agent. This stuff here. This is like a detergent. It creates itself. Like if you squish this around a little bit, it will create suds. Not very many suds, but it creates suds. So it has this natural plant solvent in there, like a natural detergent, like a natural soap. Okay. And it doesn't feel very soapy, but it feels incredibly good to touch this. So you can put this all over your body, and I wanted to put this on my feet. So I want to put this on my feet now. show this. So here I pour this over my feet. And it feels really, really good. Really good. And then I want to take the leaves and massage my feet with it. So okay, and then I'll put this back and let more leaves and water fall into it. That's what I do. Here are the leaves. And I massage the leaves into my feet, and it feels incredibly good. Okay, this is so nice. This feels so good. It feels good, the sun on my skin. I needed that, so it feels really, really good to rub the plant substance onto your skin like this. It's really healing. Oh, it's good. It's good. Feels so good. It also does like a little bit of like a shrub effect. Skin shrub effect, like a cosmetic skin shrub, which takes away old dead skin cells from the skin and makes the skin really smooth. It's really nice. It's really nice. Awesome. Okay. All right. Okay. This is also very healing if you have anything like sunburn or insect bites or whatever it is, ringworm, anything, any kind of infection or mold or something. This is really good for this. It's fantastic. I had green nail polish, like this ghost green on my toenails, but it's already worn off now. But I will put more on in the summertime when I make more foot massage videos, because it looks nice. Really nice. So now I'm gonna let this dry on my feet and on my hands. So, okay, this is really nice. This feels so good. Plant material on my skin feels good. And this is the best we can do here at this place while we don't have hot springs. So that's why we want to buy a land property in the desert and get geothermal water there. So that would be the ultimate. For me, that would be the ultimate dream come true, to get my own geothermal well and have my own geothermal swimming pool. That would be the absolute ultimate dream come true. That would be so incredibly amazing. So, this feels good. So good. And also very important to get grounded, to sit on the grass every day, even in the winter time. That's what I do. in the coldest winter months, in rain and snow and weather and hail. If the weather doesn't let off, I go in that cold weather, in the rain, outside anyway. Usually before I take a shower, I go out there in winter clothes and in winter boots, and I kneel down and I put my hands on the ground for like 10 minutes, for as long as I can handle it, and then I go back in the house. And sometimes I will take my shoes off and my socks off, and I will be standing on the grass, but with winter clothes on. So I do that sometimes too. Depends on the weather. If the sun shines, then I can do that. So today was the first day in many, many months where I was able to put my bare feet on the grass again. So pretty awesome. Feels so incredibly good. So it's very important to get grounded every day. Very, very important. This is a must do, okay, for your health. Every day. It doesn't matter whether you have an illness or whether you're healthy. Do it. Go out there and get grounded for at least 10 minutes per day. Sit on the earth's ground. Very, very important. This is very important for an energy exchange to happen in your body, okay, where your body recharges with the earth's energy. This is very, very important to do. So the earth's energy has really incredible, I don't know exactly what kind of ions those are. I'm not an expert, but it has. I watched documentary films on this, on earthing, and the earth has a very specific charge that is very beneficial for all animals. And we have to have at least some time outside to get recharged with that earth energy. This is very important. Okay, so you guys take care. Bye bye.